Last episode, the Reds DFA'd Gregory Soto and attempted to pass him through waivers so he could go back down to AAA Louisville, but unfortunately he was picked up on the waiver wire by the Washington Nationals, joining Ethan Small, Mike Moustakas, Kyle Farmer, and Tommy Pham, and seemingly every other failed person on this team on that Nationals ball club. Also, unfortunately, the Ryan Weathers as a starting pitcher experiment has not really been working out, so he is going to be going back to the bullpen where he belongs. And fortunately, down in AAA, our man Stuart Bradshaw has been pitching very well for Louisville. He's going to get the call up here, going to come up to the big leagues, be our fifth starter, wear number 51 here in Cincinnati. Also going to be DFAing two more players to open up spots on the 40-man roster here. One of them is going to be Mitch Keller. He's DFA'd, and we're going to pass him through waivers here as there is a child in the courtyard of my apartment complex screaming on the top of their lungs. And Michael Conforto also is going to be DFA'd, and he is just going to be released. Possibly the shortest stint as a member of a Jersey-born run team. The Toms River man himself, Ron Marinacci, is also going back down to AAA for now, while Seth Elledge, who has been tearing things up, shoving as a member of that bullpen, is coming back up to the big leagues here. So if we take a look at the new look rotation and bullpen, 1 to 5, or 1 to 4 is the same, but now the fifth guy is Stuart Bradshaw, while in the bullpen you have Weathers, and then DeAndre Foster is now the closer here for us in Cincinnati. As we are now here into late June on the season, still below 500 on the season, but we do have a positive run differential, so I feel like things are starting to turn around for us here. Tony Gonsolin has been fantastic in the pitching for us this season. Very good, best ERA in the National League here so far in the year, while Brian Anderson has been thriving in his everyday role. This is what we wanted to see from him when we signed him last offseason. Here, I guess 2 off seasons ago, because he was on the team last year and he was not good, but he has been great this year. Better late than never, obviously. And then Taylor Walls, everybody's favorite shortstop, on fire lately. OPS up to 843. His 413 OBP is second in the National League, only behind our man JP. And we're about to be taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. This is going to be a matchup of the 2 top hitters in the National League this season. Most hits in the National League, Alec Bohm of the Phillies. Second most, J.P. Crawford of the Reds. They will be without Nick Castellanos, though, as he is actually out for the entire season with a torn ACL, unfortunately for them. Here at Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds are playing host to the Philadelphia Phillies, another Red team, while Big Stu, the left-hander, making his Major League debut here, 13 solid starts in AAA Louisville for him, and he is now being rewarded with his call-up. So start things off, top half of the first inning, Alec Bohm leading off for Philadelphia. He's going to slice one over into right field for a leadoff single. After that is Gene Segura, still on this Phillies team, rips one into left field, back-to-back base knocks. Then it's Bryce Harper, pitch gets in the dirt, a little bit away from Stevenson, allows both runners to move up into scoring position, and then unfortunately Bryce Harper spits on ball 4, so Stu is working with the bases drunk here, and nobody out. Not the greatest start to his big league career. After that, it's going to be a single poke to the right side by Anderson, Tim Anderson. He scores 1, makes it a 1-0 Phillies lead. And then a ball dove on by India, has no play though. A second run comes in to score, so 2 down, runners, still bases loaded, and that's going to be a line drive by Matt Vierling, caught by Schrock, but 2 runs do come in. The Phils on the day are going to be throwing the left-hander Alex Wood, making his 15th start of the season, as he will be facing this Reds lineup listed 1-9. Bottom half of the first inning, Taylor Walls spits on ball 4, shows that patience, draws him the leadoff walk, so he's on first base, and then goes and does what he does. Goes and swipes second, gets himself into scoring position. That is his 11th swiped bag of the season. Unfortunately, J.P. Crawford would not be able to do anything as he gets frozen up at the dish for out number 1. But with Walls on second base, Brian Anderson comes through with that big clutch rating, and he pokes it through the right side, finds a hole, makes it a 2-1 ball game. Top half of the second here, Harrison Bader, ground ball at the shortstop. Taylor Walls just fields it perfectly on the bare hand and rips it over to first to get the fleet-footed Bader. Then in the bottom of the third inning now, J.P. Crawford powers one out to right center field, but Harrison Bader so good the first step tracks it down easily, as the elite defensive center fielder does. So top half of the fourth now, Matt Vierling singles out to right field, then Harrison Bader, ground ball up the middle. Taylor Walls once again making a play that makes you go wow. For the second out of the inning, runner moves up, but then Stuart Bradshaw gets the ground ball over to the left side. They do test Schrock's arm. A run does come in, makes it a 3-1 ball game. So now we're on to the bottom of the fourth, where it's going to be a base knock here to start off the inning from Brian Anderson. So he's on first base, brings up Stevenson. He's going to get a jam shot in on his hands here, but he bloops it in center field, shallow enough for it to land in front of Bader. And then Suzuki lays down the bunt so perfectly placed, he's able to beat it out and move the runners over. Bases are juiced here for Cincinnati. Jonathan India, swinging bunt, fielded by Wood. He goes home with it, throw pulls Realmuto off the bag, and allows India to get over to first base. Everybody's safe. It's now 3-2. Unfortunately, Call grounds over to Wood, does not make the same mistake. They turn 2, so now there's still 2 in scoring position for Cooper Hummel, who powers one to center field, but not deep enough, as Bader easily puts it away. It's now a 3-2 ball game. Top of the fifth, Stuart Bradshaw strikes out Hoskins to end the inning, strands a runner. He would go 5 innings on the day, gives up only those 3 runs on 7 hits. Lucas Sims now on as we move things all the way into the 8th inning here. Cincinnati on the hill, Phil's at the plate. It is JT Realmuto ripping a ball off the left field wall. Schrock gives it a leap, but cannot make the play. Walls has to run all the way out to left field to grab it. So Realmuto in scoring position, and then Harrison Bader with a line drive shot finally avoids Taylor Walls' glove by putting it into the left field seats. It's a 2-run blast, and it's now a 5-2 Phillies lead. So now on to the bottom of the inning, where Ryan Stanek comes on for the 24th time this season. And the first batter of the inning is J.P. Crawford, spits on ball 4, shows the patience, draws a walk. After that, it is going to be Brian Anderson, also known for the plate discipline. He also spits on ball 4, back-to-back walks here for the Phillies. 2 on, now 1 out here for Suzuki. Gets chopped in half on his bat there. Works as a swinging bunt as he's able to beat it out with his fleet feet. So bases are drunk here for the Reds. Brings up Jonathan India, and he's able to punch one through the right side of the infield. That's going to score 1. They attempt to score 2. Instead, he's dead meat at the plate. So now it's 2 on here with 2 outs. Brings up Zach McKinstry to pinch hit here against the right-handed arm of Stanek. He spits on a borderline pitch, draws himself a walk. That's 3 walks now in the inning for Stanek, and they would take him out for Sam Coonrod for the 11th time this season. Luis Arraez comes on out of the bench to pinch hit here for the Reds, swings at the first pitch, and he would just flare one out to shortstop Anderson. So it's still a 5-3 ball game here as they strand the bases loaded. Corey Knebel, I always pronounce his name incorrectly, comes on here for the Phillies in the bottom of the 9th, and with 2 outs, J.P. Crawford once again draws a walk here, keeps the inning alive. Then it brings up Brian Anderson, 3-2, spits on an extremely borderline pitch, and he draws himself a walk. So first and second here, 2 outs. Tyler Stevenson gets a dick-high fastball, good timing, and somehow just pops it up to Bryce Harper for the final out of the game, as the Phillies do hold on despite a couple threatened innings at the back end of the game here for the Reds. 5-3 is your final. JT Realmuto picks up player of the game honors for going 3 for 4 on the day. Harrison Bader had the 2-run home run in the 8th inning off Lucas Sims, which ended up being the difference in the ball game. Alec Boehm goes 3 for 5, the NL's hit leader, and Stuart Bradshaw in his debut goes 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 3 earned runs. Some more unfortunate news here for the Reds, as Ken Suzuki is going to land himself on the injured list here. Only on the 10-day IL. Fortunately, though, with a sprained knee ligament, he was hitting well before he got hurt, too. So Evan White is going to be called back up to the big leagues here. He has been raking in AAA this season, while Max Schrock is going to go back to AAA because he has not been hitting this season. Also, Jonathan India, noted hitter who does not hit, is going to be spending some time in AAA as well. He's going to get optioned down there. Also, a spoiler alert, I don't remember exactly when I did it, but I do know that I did eventually change his position to be third base because of the whole potential thing. Just yet another dumb MLB The Show thing that you have to worry about with guys developing and whatnot. And coming back up to the big leagues here is going to be the Quad A man himself, Nolan Jones. He's back up in Cincinnati as well as Elly De La Cruz. 101 ABs in AAA was pretty good. He's going to come back up here to the big leagues. So take a look at the new look lineups. Evan White's going to get some time at first base, which means that Fagan is now DHing. De La Cruz is at third base. Anderson's in right field. McKinstry's in left against right-handers. And then against left-handers, it's Alex Call who's playing in left field. And we are now here into very, very early into the month of July. We ended the month of June on a hot streak. 8-2 on our last 10, up to 41-46 on the season with a very good positive run differential. We're just trying to keep this rolling into the All-Star break here. And we are about to play the New York Metropolitans, who have a very, very funny roster. Very MLB Show rosters. They got too many catchers. I believe the D-backs also had this issue at some point throughout this series, but the Mets, they've taken it to a whole nother level as they have Francisco Mejia, who they signed in this previous offseason. He was great in 2024 with the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Mets rewarded him with a 4-year contract. But not only did they bring him on, they also signed Carson Kelly from the D-backs. He has not been good at all with Arizona throughout the sim, and the Mets gave him a 5-year deal. To be fair, though, he has been very good this season with the Mets. And then they also have Omar Narvaez, who has been on their team for the past 3 seasons, including this one. And the Mets' top prospect is, of course, Francisco Alvarez, 80 overall, a potential 23-year-old catcher, who now the best he can hope for is being the third catcher on this roster. There's also a few other names in their lineup as well that are new. Old man Paul Goldschmidt, no longer a Cardinal, now the first baseman for the Metropolitans. Also some other new names like Vientos at third base, Mauricio is up, Brett Beatty's on the big league club as well. Top 2 pitchers are now David Peterson and Frankie Montas. We're a long way away from the DeGrom and just full of aces on the Mets staff. No longer a thing. Now it's David Peterson and Frankie Montas. While in the bullpen, they have Johnny Lasagna and Paul Sewald on the back end of their bullpen. The Reds hitting the road now to travel out to New York, baby! Reds, Mets here at Citi Field. The lefty Cole Irvin making his 18th start here for the Metropolitans on the day. Take a look at the Reds lineup listed 1-9, as well as their starter on the day, another lefty in Nick Lodolo, making his 18th start here for Cincinnati. Take a look at the Mets lineup listed 1-9. We'll start things off bottom half of the second inning. It is Mark Vientos grounding one up the middle. Walls somehow cannot get to that, and it's going to be a leadoff single. Then it brings up Paul Goldschmidt, who of course can still hit against left-handed pitching, and as he pokes one through the right side, so back-to-back base knocks. Now it's Carlos Rincon, who gets a fastball on the hands and muscles it into the seats in left field. Call had no chance on it. A 3-run blast, 5th of the season for Carlos Rincon, and the Mets jump out to an early 3-0 lead. Lodolo would settle in, though, as Taylor Walls once again making a play that makes you go, wow. For the first out of the inning, then it would be Carson Kelly, who strikes out, one of their new catchers. And then for the final out of the inning, it is Luis Guillorme lining out to center field for the third. So we move things on to the third inning now, 1 out, and Brandon Nimmo hitting a ball out to deep right field. Brian Anderson lays out, who do you think you are? Whit Merrifield makes the diving catch Absolutely phenomenal play by the great fielder Brian Anderson. Makes the perfect route, 99.9% route efficiency. Very nice play by Brian Anderson. As we will now move on later in the inning, it is Francisco Lindor grounding one over to the right side, and J.P. Crawford says, hey, I can do the defense pretty well too, as he makes the diving play and ends the inning. So top half of the fifth now, Adrian Merced bloops one in front of Brandon Nimmo for a base knock, fights a pitch off on the hands, so keeps the inning alive, then goes and swipes second base to get himself into scoring position, does what he does. That's number 20 on the season for him, and then it brings up Evan White's still at the dish. He's able to bloop one into left center because Nimmo took a terrible route that was able to land in front of him, but unfortunately the run does come in, but White is going to be caught going back into first base. So it's only a 3-1 game. Bottom of the fifth now, ground ball over to the shortstop. Walls once again just makes a fantastic play to get out of the inning. He fires it to second base. Move things on, top of the seventh inning. Cole Irvin still on the hill here for the Metropolitans, and with one out, it's Johnny Fagan going up the middle. He would then go and swipe second base as the throw down is away, but unfortunately De La Cruz would get rung up on that pitch, so two down runner on second. And Alex Call fights off the two-strike pitch, punches it into center field, scores the runner Fagan, makes it a 3-2 ball game. Top of the eighth now, runner on first. Evan White gets a pitch up in the zone, powers at the deep left field, but unfortunately it's caught right at the wall by Rincon. Merced thought it was going to be out, so he just started running, and instead he's doubled up on the bases. So nothing going on in that inning. Move things on to the top of the ninth. Paul Sewald on the hill here for the Mariners. And he's going to walk his former Mariner, I should say. I can't talk. He walks his former Mariner teammate, J.P. Crawford, puts him on first base. Brian Anderson then comes up, and he gets a ground rule double, extends his hitting streak to 11 games. So now there's two on, nobody out, and then Tyler Stevenson flies one to right center field. This is going to tag up both runners. The throw goes to third, but it's offline, so they both tag up successfully, make it a 3-3 ball game. And then Ellie De La Cruz, welcome back to the big leagues, pokes one into right field, scores the go-ahead run. It's now a 4-3 game. DeAndre Foster comes in for the save in the ninth inning, looking for his 8th of the season. And Vientos muscles a ball 99 on the hands into right center field. Easy two-bagger for him. Keeps the game alive and brings up the go-ahead run in Paul Goldschmidt, who does hit a fly ball to deep right field, but not deep enough. Brian Anderson puts it away, and that is your ball game. 4-3 is the final here at Citi Field. The Reds come away with the victory thanks to a late-inning rally. Adrian Merced picks up player of the game honors as he went 2 for 3 on the day. Brian Anderson had the clutch double in the ninth inning, while Carlos Rincon had that 3-run shot for the Mets in the second. Those ended up being the only Mets runs on the day. Nick Lodolo goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 3 earned runs. Overall, a very solid line for Lodolo. Now jumping straight into the next game here, the Reds hosting the Braves back at Great American Ballpark here, rocking their throwback unis on the day. And pitching for the Braves is going to be the rare high school pitcher from upstate New York to make it to the big leagues, Ian Anderson. Pitching for Atlanta, take a look at the Reds lineup 1-9 on the day, as well as Tyler Mahle toeing the slab for Cincinnati here. Take a look at the Braves lineup that he will be facing, and we'll start things off top half of the first inning. Dansby Swanson got on first with a single, but then Taylor Walls is able to stop that in its tracks. He throws over to first, and then they throw back to second to slap the tag on Swanson for the double play. Very unconventional way to turn the double play, but they do anyways. So top half of the third, it would be Contreras striking out, then Bo Phillip looking on the curveball. He's a pair of shoes. And then it would be Drew Waters, known for his swinging miss, and he whiffs through that one for the third strikeout of the inning for Tyler Mahle. Gives himself a round of applause as he gets out of it. And now on to the bottom of the third. Taylor Walls says, I'm better than you, grounds one to Swanson, and he muffs it. So it's going to be a reach-on error for Walls, and then J.P. Crawford grounds one to the right side. No double play opportunity, so Walls moves up to second base, and then Tyler Stevenson line drive snagged out of the air by Matt Olson for out number 2, and then Walls goes and swipes third base because he just cannot stop being electric. 15th swiped bag of the season, and then McKinstry spits on ball 4, so it's runners on the corners here with 2 outs, and then McKinstry swipes second. No throw down. 2 runners are now in scoring position here for Brian Anderson, and he's going to ground one up the middle. Knocked down by Swanson, scores 1, but McKinstry getting aggressive is not going to score. He's going to be tagged out at the plate, but a run does come in to make it a 1-0 lead for Cincinnati. Top of the 4th now, dribbler from Swanson, fielded by Malley, fielding his position, tosses over to first base. Then for the second out, it would be Matt Olson whiffing through that nasty splitter that Malley has. And then for the final out, it would be Acuna grounding one over to Taylor Walls once again. What can you say about the guy? Diving play, gets to his feet, fires a strike to first base. Now we're on to the bottom of the 4th where Johnny Fagan hits a laser up the middle, lands in front of Drew Waters. He's on first base, goes and tries to swipe second. Instead, it's a hit and run. So he goes first to third on the De La Cruz single. So runners are on the corners here for Adrian Merced. De La Cruz gets his 6'5 frame into, is he 6'4 or 6'5? One of those, into second base as he slides in for the swiped bag. Then Merced chops one out to third, drives in another run to make it a 2-0 game. We now move things on all the way to the top of the 7th where Miguel Sano gets a slider that does not slide, and he powers that one opposite way into the right field seats. A long home run for the big man, 24th of the season, makes it a 2-1 game. Kenley Jansen on for the Braves in the 7th. And how hot is Taylor Walls right now? Well, he's so hot, if you hang him a slider, he's going to center field with it. Into the seats, a rare Taylor Walls home run. Makes it a 2-run lead again for Cincinnati as he continues to be on fire. TJ Antone enters the game out of the bullpen here for Cincinnati. And with a runner on first base, little chopper left side here from Contreras is going to be a swinging bunt that effectively gets the runner over to second base, and then it would be a single from Waters, which drives him over to third. They do not test the arm, but now Michael Harris comes in to pinch run at third base. So 2 outs, runners on the corners, and it's going to be a slow roller into right center field, so slow that it allows both runners to score here. A bases clearing double by Dansby Swanson makes it a 3-3 game. Ryan Weathers, the left-hander, then comes on out of the bullpen here to face the lefty bat of Matt Olson, and he would get him to go down swinging on 3 pitches, but it is a 3-3 game now here in Cincinnati. Move things on. Bottom of the 9th, Evan White's ground ball left side. Swanson knocks it down, but he has no play at first base. Infield single for White. Then it's De La Cruz line drive at Olson. Catches it, slaps the tag on White, diving back into the bag. It's a double play to get out of it. So we're on to extras here. Top of the 10th, DeAndre Foster comes out of the arm barn here, the hard-throwing right-hander, and he gets a chopper back to himself. Makes the easy out, but the runner does move up 90 feet away from home plate. And an 0-2 count here. Ground ball into the infield in. Crawford chases the man back to third, tosses over to first for out number 2. And then Foster would just blow the cutter by Drew Waters because he loves to swing and miss. 3-3 is still your score heading into the bottom of the 10th as Foster gets out of it. Michael Phillies enters the game for the 27th time this season for Atlanta. And with a runner on second base and the speedy Merced at the dish, he tries to lay in a bunt to try to move the runner over and get into first base. Instead, neither is achieved. And then Taylor Walls looking for something else, gets rung up looking on the fastball. So 2 down, but no worries. Mr. Cool himself, J.P. Crawford, powers one into right center over the head of Waters, easily scores De La Cruz, and the Reds walk it off here at home in extra innings. The 10th inning, RBI double from J.P. Crawford. He wins it for the Big Red Machine. 4-3 is your final. Taylor Walls does get player of the game honors for probably his 40 different insane plays in the field and also his home run. J.P. Crawford, of course, walked it off in the 10th. Only 7 hits for each team. Tyler Mahle goes 7 innings, 4 hits given up, 5 strikeouts, no walks, and 1 earned run. TJ Antone blew the lead in the 8th, but the team picked him up with the walk-off hit from J.P. Crawford in extras. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here on MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying, Cincinnati's own Arlo McKinley with a new album out. It's good, folks.